Gabagool, right? Yeah, and I was expecting to hear the origin of where Gabagool came from, but we don't get that within the movie, unfortunately.
Who ate all the gabagool?
No more gabagool for you. The doctor said it's bad for you.
I don't give a...
Drive-by movies, you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name is Blaise.
And my name is James.
And this week we're talking the brand new film to HBO Max on demand and in theaters, The Many Saints of Newark.
Pain comes from always wanting things. But what do I know? I'm a murderer.
The best things in life are free.
So this is a Sopranos story, and with it, you get to witness the making of Tony Soprano, the story that reveals the humanity behind Tony's struggles and the influence of his family, especially his uncle Dickie Moltisanti had over him, becoming the most iconic mob boss of all time. The Sopranos is one of the most iconic shows of all time, and I have not seen it. Blaise, have you seen it?
I've seen like 5 episodes, so I've seen more than you.
Okay.
But this kind of review, our conversation about this film, obviously is going to be on a different end of the spectrum. I think a lot of the different videos you see about the Many Saints of Newark are probably people with more experience. We're probably just going to be looking at this from like a film perspective, like this just as a feature film alone. Does it stand on its own? Is it a good standalone thing? Or is it something that maybe we or the viewer needed to have watched the entire seasons of Sopranos and the entire legacy that the Sopranos series basically created, the dawn of kind of the serialized television in which we're seeing currently, and what started basically the golden age of television is the Sopranos. So you gotta give credit where it's due, but we want to know, does that, relay into this film, The Many Saints of Newark? So James, What do you think of the movie?
Yeah, so from the research I read, apparently they made this film like specifically for people who, of course, fans of the show, but they also wanted to make it to where anyone who hasn't seen the show will still understand what's going on. And for the most part, I think it's definitely still geared towards people that will most enjoy it, are definitely fans of the show. I still enjoyed this movie, but however, I'm not the biggest fan of mobster movies. I kind of explained that in a review for The Irishman. I still thought it was a mighty fine movie, but I was explaining in that review that I'm not the biggest fan of like movies like Goodfellas. I find The Godfather to be like Peter Griffin said in Family Guy. I found The Godfather not to be all that and stuff.
But since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
I'm in that boat for the most part and stuff, but I still respect that movie. With this, it definitely made me want to watch The Sopranos, though. I think the best part of this movie is like actually the parts with Tony Soprano and James Gandolfini's son. That he played a great role and stuff, and him not being too dark of a character, but like you can tell that he's built to become like this sinister character that I assume he's about to be in The Sopranos. However, though, I just wasn't that into it, though. Like there's a lot going on within the story, and a lot kind of happens within the end. It just felt like a bunch of vignettes spread throughout the movie. It's very beautifully shot, I'd say, but just I think the script just wasn't held together. It felt like a season finale that was just kind of rushed into like theaters almost. Like it felt like I was watching Game of Thrones, where like 3 hours of information is piled into a 1 hour episode and stuff, and that's what I kind of got. Like, even though it was still easy to follow, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say that I did feel like the entire film was trying to go for more of an epic, thing, like where it's like really trying to compile all this stuff, the history of the family, the Moltisantis, and really kind of the origin stories of a lot of the characters, in which maybe you don't just see, like obviously the origin story of Tony Soprano, but also like the origin stories of the characters in which maybe you just hear about in the show. Like you didn't actually see the characters because they're not alive anymore, but you know the legacies in which they left, the storylines in which were carried on in the entirety of the show The Sopranos, because with the episodes that I've seen of Sopranos, obviously I've only seen so many episodes, but like I did get a vibe for the show that's very like, it's very small. Like television always has to like be only a couple different things in each episode and small storylines, and then larger storylines when it comes to a season or also the entirety of a show. But this is cramming so much in the entire film that it did feel almost like a little rushed, I felt like, which I enjoyed the movie, but yeah, I felt like, I don't know, it just, as someone who hasn't watched the entire show, I did feel like it was kind of filled with like fan service or stuff that maybe didn't hit for me. I've watched a couple reviews and whatnot of other people that I like, you know, really are in love with The Sopranos, have watched the show when it came out and stuff, and there was a lot of stuff that was lost on me, at least. So, which I don't think it made or broke the film. I do feel like I would have got a lot of appreciation though as a Sopranos fan.
Yeah, I think I definitely would have appreciated some more, because there were a lot of like scenes within this movie where I felt like, oh, this feels like it's supposed to be a callback to a future character that's being developed and stuff, but just unfortunately it just doesn't work for our normal audience member like me who's never seen anything about The Sopranos. The only thing I've ever seen about The Sopranos is Will Sasso's Mad TV skit about well, what's the name of this food? Gabagool, right? Yeah, and I was expecting to hear the origin of where gabagool came from, but we don't get that within the movie, unfortunately. We hear a lot of mobster terms though, also, where I'm like, oh, this is probably like a big term we hear within the series and stuff. But yeah, I was really hoping that like, oh, like he tries gabagool for the first time. He's like, wow, this is the stuff right here.
Well, honestly, if you were a fan of that show or that skit on Mad TV, which is basically The Sopranos, but what if it was on PAX, which is a Christian television station, there was some fan service for you if you're a fan of that, actually.
Oh, there was. I missed out on it then, actually.
Yeah, Joey Coco Diaz is actually in this Sopranos film.
Fantastic point. Oh my God, I forgot. So yeah, seeing Joey Diaz though in this movie was a fantastic delight. And then it's very shocking when he's just not in the movie anymore, we'll just say. I was just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, it was a very violent scene, because like I was waiting for the movie to kind of make that dark turn. I'll give this movie credit though, like I wasn't bored throughout it though, just like there were a lot of scenes where it kind of felt like unnecessary. I was like, oh, that must be a callback to the show or something. But throughout the movie, I started this movie at like 11 o'clock at night, and I stayed up all night watching it and stuff. It's like, it's not too long. Like most mobster movies always seem to be 2.5, 3 hours long or whatever. This feels just right and stuff. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It just kind of ended abruptly, and I was surprised though with like our leader, like the mobster that's Tony Soprano's uncle, that like played such an influential part on him becoming this gang leader. I was like, I don't really know if I got that sense out of him though. He's a fantastic actor. I haven't seen this actor in anything since Jurassic Park 3, but he killed it though in this role though, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I liked the most about this film was the end. Like, especially, I think I had only seen so many episodes of Sopranos, but I think if I was a Sopranos fan, like I think the ending would be so, like, even just the small amount of episodes I've seen, like I freaking love the ending. I thought it was like such a cool, like it basically ends, like, I mean, it's not a super spoiler, but it basically ends with the intro to the theme song of the TV show, which I thought was just like such a cool, it's just a cool ending, because this is a precursor to The Sopranos. This is like the prequel, and it's just like a fun thing if you have any knowledge, and that's even just watching probably one episode essentially, like, because I only watched a handful, and I thought that was a cool ending, but also just the character turn that is, you know, gets you ready essentially for The Sopranos, of essentially James Gandolfini's character basically becoming, you know, who he is in the show The Sopranos. So I thought that was a cool turn. I think something that we would be remiss to talk about would be just Michael Gandolfini's portrayal of his late father's, you know, kind of role that defined him as an actor, which I thought he did a great job in the role of Tony Soprano. He's the young Tony Soprano, like the kind of teenage to young Tony Soprano, and I thought he did a great job. Honestly, I hope to see him in more stuff. Like, I think his dad is talked about as like one of the greats, and we kind of lost him and some other greats at the same time. But he is somebody that I definitely miss seeing in. I think he was only really getting his footing in movies, kind of
after the show, after Sopranos.
Before his death. So I feel like we definitely missed some more great roles we would have seen him in. So I hope that maybe this will give Michael the opportunity to kind of step into his dad's footsteps, because I think there's a lot more to offer there.
Yeah, because I remember most of the roles that James Gandolfini was taking after Sopranos were kind of lighthearted, like easygoing like roles and stuff. I remember, like, of course, like we probably all remember that he was in the role of like the voice of the main creature and Where the Wild Things Are. That's like what I mainly remember. But there was a movie where like my introduction to James Gandolfini was Enough Said, though, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like, you know, this big guy and stuff, like he's kind of intimidating looking, but just like seeing their chemistry and just him being an easygoing, kind-hearted soul within that movie and stuff, them going on yogurt dates and stuff. I knew who he was. I knew he was known for The Sopranos and everything, but just like that was my introduction to him and stuff. And I hope to see, you know, Michael Gandolfini maybe like leave off where his dad left off, like taking these like kind of lighthearted roles, because that's kind of the role he was playing within this movie and stuff. Like, you do see that, like, you know, of course, like he attacks the ice cream driver and stuff, but like, you know, it's a kid being a kid, of course, like an evil little shit kid, but what's it called though, but just like like seeing the moment though between like his best memory with his mom and explaining that to that like teacher or counselor and stuff was just like such a, I thought that was like the most like well constructed scene within the movie and stuff. And I thought Alan Taylor had some great moments and scenes where like the chemistry just feels real and stuff, and shots look beautiful, but just like, yeah, it's just overall like I know he's done like a lot of TV shows that I watch and stuff. He's done Game of Thrones, Mad Men, as well as The Sopranos and stuff, but yeah, he's a pretty legendary TV director. He's essentially, this film was originally going to be directed by David Chase, who was like the showrunner and the writer and creator of Sopranos, but some family stuff he wanted to attend to, but he was still very much involved in the film. But he, you know, let Alan Taylor direct this film. And I think it was a really good collaboration between the two, obviously, who they had already collaborated before. But yeah, I thought the film was really enjoyable. Like, it gives you all the moments you want from kind of a mob movie, while still telling this different story of like somebody kind of being sparked by all the chaos that they're surrounded by, and kind of getting that little spark and basically starts them on that path, but without seeing that path, because that's essentially what The Sopranos is. So I really enjoyed it. I think I would have gotten more enjoyment if I was a Sopranos fan, obviously, because there's a lot of fan service in the movie that is kind of lost on you as somebody that hasn't really, you know, delved too deep into The Sopranos. Exactly. Yeah, that's you being that, and then me just never seeing it and stuff. But well, like, you know, I don't like recommend this movie to like everyone and stuff. Like, I thought it was still a fine movie, and I like, you know, commend it. And like, I love the fact that it made me want to check out the show now more than ever now and stuff, because definitely gonna add it to my like I'm definitely gonna like start watching that show, like I'd say right now and stuff, once I finish watching all the other Netflix horror shows I got to get through this month. But you know, I feel like it's the good family gathering show for the fall that I've been needing and stuff, and looking forward to checking out and thanking this movie for getting me to that point and stuff, just because The Sopranos has been far on my list, but just like never getting around to it, but now it's up at the top of the list and stuff. But what do you guys think? Like, are you guys Sopranos fans? Did this movie do it justice, or, you know, are you like casual watchers like us but still enjoyed it? Like, you know, let us know in the comments, letting us know what you thought about the movie. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates. Can't get enough of us here on YouTube also? Well, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Catch all our links in the description box below. Anyways, guys, that'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.